Hello everyone! Welcome to the 7th episode of my Create This Book series. Today I'll be working on 4 prompts, and as always, I'll link the playlist with all the existing episodes thus far in the description below. But without further ado, let's get started! The first prompt that we're going to tackle this week is create a bumpy page. Lay this page over a textured or bumpy surface. Try to write or draw something. To me, this is one of those pages where you just gotta do the thing instead of being extremely creative with it. And so I just took, I think, some glue sticks, some pens, just anything I could find that was large and bumpy or would create a bump, and placed it under this sheet of paper, and then glued it down and did my thing with my pencils. I chose 4 different pencils just to give it some variety and make some sort of pattern. And then later I will glue in this page, of course. And to give it some more interest, I decided to put these little hearts on there and then some dots in between. And for the other page, I also tried to recreate some sort of like heart and pattern style to kind of make the antidote for that other page. So you'll see me measure out the page and dividing it into like equal parts of 2 centimeters, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 1 centimeter intervals. And I put this heart on there, and then as I start coloring the heart, I realize I'm a dumbass and I forgot to cut out or pre-cut out the previous page, which had the refusal box. So I'm cutting that out now, and then I am troubleshooting this by taking a post-it note and covering the free space with it, and then just trying to blend it in as perfectly as I can without having to physically tape it onto this to this sheet of paper. It was a bit of a hassle, not gonna lie. I should have been smarter, but I feel like in the end you can't really notice that there's something cut out on the left, and I have my refusal box now cut out. Again, I probably should have done this previous to starting the page, but it worked regardless. Also, you might remember one of my previous videos where I asked you guys if it would have been better to Mod Podge first and then glue in, or glue it in and then Mod Podge. The order is Mod Podge first, glue in later, because then you don't have any wrinkles, just in case you're dealing with the same situation. If you don't want wrinkles on your piece of paper or your extra sheet of paper, Mod Podge that first, let it dry, and then put it in your book. Works like a charm. Now that that is done, let's move on to the next page, which says, create a page of stripes. Draw stripes on this page. And I decided to bust out my old Create This book for this, because I remember that I had painted the Cheshire Cat for this prompt. As you can see here, this is how the prompt used to look. And I'm gonna redraw it for this prompt. And it took forever because I used my colored pencils, and kudos to all of the people that say, yo, I started out with colored pencils, they're my jam. Like, I bow down to you, because this took absolutely forever. I had hand cramps. I wanted to give up after I had done like half of the head. Yeah, and that was also the day that I learned that the Cheshire Cat is in fact not a turquoise cat, but a black and gray striped cat with blue highlights. So in my imagination, I always thought it was blue, but it just has like blue accents here and there. And yeah, again, it was a huge struggle, but in the end, it looks so much better than my previous version. I'll probably take a picture and put like the comparison on the side here. But yeah, it's still not perfect by any means. I usually try to keep pictures that I use on my spare phone out of frame, but for this one I was so tired of having to constantly look back and forth, so I just put it right next to me so I wouldn't have to deal with that neck strained as well as my hand strained. But yeah, this had hundreds of layers, and I've cut out so much of the footage already, but there were so many times that I just went over it with just another darker color or one of the grays I used to blend everything together, and that worked really well. But again, I will probably not do something like this again because it was so tedious. And after this, I decided, okay, I'm not even gonna bother with the background, or, well, I will bother with the background, but I will not paint it or draw it with colored pencils, but rather I busted out my gouache. Also, I had planned initially to draw this just with like normal paints, with gouache or watercolors, whatever. But I like I gotta be my own hater. So I was like, okay, let's break up my pattern of using gouache then colored pencils. So I was like, okay, I'll just use colored pencils, but you know, mistakes were made. But yeah, I then just proceeded to use gouache for the background instead, which worked really well, like better than I thought it would. I thought it would look really weird in the end, but I made it work because I went over my colored pencil drawing with my gouache in some spots to kind of merge the two mediums together, and that worked pretty well. But yeah, that was this drawing. It took me over, I want to say, 2 hours. This printer paper page is well loved. It's done. It's colored to its limit. And I'm really happy with what I ended up with, I gotta say. And then obviously in the end I went over it with like gel pen to give it some more highlights and all of that. But yeah, at last, let's move on to the next page, which was a breeze in comparison to the last one. It says, create a signature. Use the lines below to practice your signature. Try to include some variations. Try the one you think is best. Now, I do gotta say, I forgot to do the letter part, but I will blame that on my brain being exhausted from the last prompt. I also just went really easy on this one. I didn't try to do anything fancy, so I just wrote my name in a couple different fonts, because honestly, I already have a signature, so I didn't really bother coming up with something new. I think my signature is simple enough to where I can just use it. And my normal signature that I use for actual documents is different anyway, so this is just my artsy autograph, if you want. So I just played around with different fonts, like made a really abstract one in purple. I also went in rainbow order, you know, as you should if you're normal. And then I also decided to sign and date the page with the rainbow order, which worked really well. But yeah, again, it was just one of those really easy pages that I desperately needed after having a hand cramp after hand cramp with the last page. So after this page was snagged away, we can continue with the very last page for today, which is also one of my favorite pages of this episode. It says, create art with wax. Decorate this page using only wax, candle wax, crayons, etc. I actually bought myself some Crayolas for €3 for this one, because initially I tried to make some scratch art. So if you don't know what that is, you like paint a very colorful layer of crayon first, and then you put a black layer on top, and then you take a pair of scissors or like a toothpick and scratch your design into it, which was my initial plan. But as soon as I got them and tried them out, I was like, these don't layer super well. I think it will just look muddy. So I decided to do what I usually do in my sketchbooks, which is studies of fruit. And I really enjoy doing them because they're like quick and simple and do not have too many details, which was perfect for these. Because if you've never painted with colored crayons, what are they called? Crayolas, whatever. If you've never painted with them before or drew with them before, details are non-existent unless you have like high quality ones, but again, these cost me literally $3, so I did what I could. I also only had 2 shades of green, which is not not good if you want to paint any sort of stem or leaf, but we made it work. Again, I painted some fruits or vegetables, I don't know. I painted some lemons, some persimmon. I think in German we call them kaki. Maybe in English they're also like khaki. I don't know, you tell me. I'm too lazy to look it up. But I painted those. These are the orange fruits. I painted some peaches in the top right. And then lastly, I did some limes because I wanted some more green on the page. And I tried to do the background in the contrasting colors. So for example, for the lemons, I took pink because that's the complementary color, and so on. And it worked really well. It went really smooth, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with this page. I'm very happy that it was so simple, and I think it is actually my favorite page of the episode. Sorry, Cheshire Cat. I'm just scarred from hand cramps, but yeah. Let me know which one was your favorite page. Also, one thing that I should have probably mentioned way earlier than at the end of the episode, I have created some like little chibis for my intro, and I think they're really cute, so definitely let me know what you think of them. I thought it would be more personal than you just looking at the book in the beginning and just hearing me talk, so yeah, I'm thinking of making more like throughout the episode or reusing some of them, so like when I speak I would put like a little mini-me at the corner. So yeah, let me know what you think. But yeah, with that being said, I think it is time for us to flip through the pages that we've done this week. Okay, so first we created bumps by placing some very bumpy objects below a sheet of paper and going over that with colored pencils. I am mediocrely satisfied with this page. It was just one of those pages that you just had to do and not much creativity goes into it, and you just, you try something new that you've probably never done before. Well, I don't think I've ever really done anything like this before, so good for that, good for the experience. Next, we created stripes by putting the Cheshire Cat on this page and redrawing my old drawing from, I want to say, around 2015, so when I was about 15 or 16 years old. Again, here's the comparison. Let me know which version do you think is better. And then several hand cramps later, we created a signature, or rather we tried out some more signatures that I could potentially use if I had endless time to sign each of my artworks. And last but not least, we created art using only wax, in this case crayons, to create some little fruits. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe or even comment. I love reading your comments and replying to them. I hope you have a lovely day, and we'll see each other in the next one. Goodbye!